recently announced the full lineup for 331 UFC 331, and I just saw that Armin is fighting Mauricio Huffy for the title eliminator. Now, there's also tied to Iwasa versus Spain, but that's another topic for another day. That's one of the funniest fights they could have ever thought up. Maybe Dana White still got it, but anyway, what I'm saying is that I've been defending Charles Oliveira to the death. Okay, my goat. I've been defending him to the death just for him not to fight Armin Sarukian. Are you kidding me? RIP to his friend. I really feel bad for him. I love you, Charles. We believe in you. Anyways, let's get to the actual video. I believe that Charles will win. We never count the unks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the AMJ channel. Today we will be talking about unks, and the thing that got me thinking about this is tonight's or not tonight's this weekend's UFC Apex card. Because we love the Apex, of course. We are looking forward to it. Which I'll get the prediction out probably Friday around then if I can. But anyways, where it's Mateus Gamrot versus Quinn and South killed. And the thing is, and I'm gonna show a bit of my bias and I'm gonna spoil my prediction, but I do think that Mateus Gamrot is going to win. Cousin Gamrot, crafty vet. Um, this isn't gonna be a prediction video. What I'm saying, I'm going off track. But anyways, what I'm saying is that um, I feel like sometimes people write off on people because of their age. Um, Mateus Gamrot is about like 35, 36, something like that. People saying that he's old. People saying that he's already a vet. That's kind of over. Journeyman run was over. But I don't believe so. I think that Unks can come back. That Unks still got it, and that's the point of this video. I'm gonna prove some points. Okay, starting with the first one is being BST versus Poirier. Now, Dustin Poirier up until before this fight just got done getting brutally knocked out by Justin Gaethje. And this wouldn't be a bad one. Getting one of the best fights over Dan Hooker, winning twice over Conor McGregor, and Chandler, but losing to Oliveira and Gaethje. And like, to be fair, it's not a bad record, but it's just like people were writing off. Like that he could beat Hooker, McGregor, Chandler, but on the top division and to title contentions, that it was just basically over. That Dustin was too old, that he wouldn't have a chance with the new up and comers. For example, BSD. No, but no, Saint Denis, like I don't like this guy. Okay. But I can't like completely diss him because like in the beginning of his run, like ignoring his first fight, he would go on a pretty nice 5-5 win streak. Never seen the third round, never seen the scorecards. Um, Having pretty impressive finishes over Ismail Bonfim, Math Favola. Ismail Bonfim's low key a fraud, but I'm getting into that in another video. But anyways, me personally, I don't really like BSC. I think that he's how do I put this? That he had some extra teachers in his classroom. That his bus was shorter than most people's. It's just something like special about him. Definitely, especially with the most recent fight. But recency bias aside, he was seen as a really good prospect at this point. And Dustin Poirier will be his first real test. Kind of where his name would be in title contention and in the new rankings. And how would he do? Would he dominate? He had the big good grappling base, go up against someone who's mainly a striker. He would get knocked out in the third round. Now, I will say though, Dustin was, I'd say, down 2 rounds before this knockout. Misty's wrestling and pressure was pretty good, but here's the difference. Okay, Dustin does not have the mind of an average journeyman. Average journeyman faces someone like BSD to take one sniff of him whenever he shoots in. They're like, "Oh my goodness, this man smells so bad." Like I don't even know if he's ever heard of a shower. I think that if he like even like got handed a bar of soap, he would cry. I need to get out of here as fast as I can. Like no matter if I get knocked out or so. That's why they never lasted just third round. But Dustin doesn't have the average mindset. Okay, he sniffs in and he smells blood. Okay, he wants to get out of there as badly as the other people. He just knows he just needs to win by knockout, which he did, and a pretty good knockout. Lay BST flat, and this would be like one of BST's first fraud checks. Where like it kind of seemed like he couldn't hang with the top of the division. And it wouldn't do that much good for the PSC propagandists whenever he lost to Moicano, and they're crying right now because of the Paddy fight. And so PSC, it's a pretty rough spot. But Dustin, though, this would be like one of his biggest fights, getting him a shot against Islam, where he was sad to lose, and he would lose his. I'm pretty sure his next two, or no, he would win one and then lose his next two. I'm pretty sure Holloway and I forgot what the other one is. But anyways, what I'm saying is that Poirier uh, showed levels to BSD in one of his last fights. A real unk, so it got a moment. But anyway, speaking of Dustin Poirier, let's talk about someone who he lost to very back in the olden days. I forgot specifically when he lost to Cub Swanson. Like I was like a little shit back then. Okay, so don't call me a casual. That's why I'm not casual. But Cub Swanson, okay, Cub Swanson, like after post 2017, past his prime, ghost. Okay, ghost of Cub Swanson. And Dana White, whenever he sees like someone who has some name value, turn go past his prime, he's like, we can't give you up. We have to keep you around. We have to feature you up and comers. And and albeit even though he was like around like what was this 2017? How old was he? Never mind, he'll be like 31 by then. Anyways, he will go on a 4-fight lose streak and then bounce back a little bit, but be very inconsistent with it. Losing one, winning one. Um, up until 2024. Sorry, you can tell I didn't want to do this in one take. Anyways, but anyway, to his second last fight, he would fight someone by the name of Betty Q. No, you might hear Betty Q and be like, I've never heard this person before. Don't worry, you will. Because he will be in the main card of Apex this weekend. We are excited for the Apex. We know who Betty Q is. Anyways, Betty Q would also have a very inconsistent career. Literally being like, okay, so he go on 4-fight win streak. Then literally be the definition of lose one, win one. Look at this. He would lose Barbosa, Anthony Barbosa when he was already past his prime. This guy just can't catch a break. But he would be Alexander Hernandez. A very I won't say also inconsistent fighter, but he has his moments. He's not like a bad fighter. He's one of the better fighters, but he just be like a regular dude. But he's cute. But going into this fight, Cub Swanson would be 40 years old. Billy Q around like 35 or something like that. I will. So obviously, Cub Swanson would be a very big underdog on this fight. Sadly, we don't want to see Vet get knocked out. Just make it quick, Billy Q. Why is he smirking me like that? I don't like that. This is really just a guy, bro. This if you walked into your local, like call up Geico right now, and like go to a local Geico, and I bet someone exactly like Billy Q works there. And this is one of the most banana guys, like right up there next to Poe Nichols, and like him, like oh my goodness. Anyways, what would happen in the fight? He would kill him. No, not actually. But Come Swanson would brutally KO him. Look at this picture, bro. Remove every context you can from this picture. It looks like Cub Swanson literally killed a man. Cub Swanson is yelling, like hands out, over a dead body. It's almost as bad as whenever Josh Emmett knocked out Bryce Mitchell. People actually thought that Bryce Mitchell died, and like Josh Emmett was just screaming at him. Like this is a bad image. The referee like looks like he's about to mourn him. He looks like he's about to lay flowers next to Billy Q. And this wouldn't be, and this I won't say it was not like one sided fight. Like this would be an absolute war, and that's really impressive, especially for someone at the age of Cub Swans. 40 years old, like you can't go into many wars, but he did, and he got out on top. One of the best fights I've ever seen. Good. I only recommend go watching that fight. It's like amazing. Like especially if you put the context in of Cub being like a pretty old vet, makes it that much more amazing. But this is why I would never count out someone. Cub Swanson, we love you. He'll go on to win his next fight. Not gonna talk about that one though, but that'll be his last fight. By the way, Billy Q hasn't fought since the Cub Swanson fight. Okay, Cub Swanson has a more active schedule than Billy Q, and he's retired, bro. But Billy Q's about to make his return, but still, it's been 2 years. Anyways, I'm not gonna spoil my predictions. I'm gonna going ahead of my own schedule. Anyways, Unk got it. Moment number 3, King Green. Now, King Green, he's no longer Bobby Green. Okay, no one knows him Bobby Green anymore. It's King Green. Okay, but I want you to know the context of this too. King Green is kind of the definition of a journeyman. Unfortunately, I won't count the Islam fight against him, because it's Islam. But he will go. He would lose against Drew Dober. I mean, obviously, if you know anything about Drew Dober, like you don't bet any money on someone who looks like King Green to win against him. Just saying. With submit Tony Ferguson, win against Grant Dawson. Like who cares? But then you lose to Jaden Turner, Paddy Pimblett, and Mauricio Huffy. And like literally, okay, I'm not gonna skip over the win against Jim Miller. He won against Jim Miller, but it's a very like lose win. It was. It's like it's 3-5. He would go from 2020 to 2025. And the last KO against Huffy, like, oh my god, bro. Look at this, okay? Mauricio Huffy literally tried to take his head off. Like, okay, I will say in this picture it doesn't look like a hit, but it cleared his temple. There might be a dent in his head now, but maybe instead of like, knocking him out, it actually woke him up. Okay, and I was explain why. Because after this fight, he would win a split decision. But okay, we're to skip over that. Okay, he would go on a 4-fight win streak, starting off with Zell Huber and Jeremy Stevenson. Okay, the hardest hitting 145 and Zell Huber. Yeah, I mean Zell Huber's just how Zell Huber, but he would go up against he would knock out Zell Huber and submit um Chef Jeffrey Stevenson. The hardest hitting 145. Who does that? Who does that other than King Green? He did not hit the MJ. He did not hit 20 losses. That's AI. He's the hardest hitter, and King Green's the only one to actually submit him. Anyways, um, and Doug Huber, he's not like a journeyman either. He's a pretty well fighter. And then he faced off against McKinney. And first of all, this picture's pretty hilarious. I have no idea why Kennedy looks like that. And the way I cropped it was King Green just like coming out of nowhere, just seeming like coming from Superman. It looks like he's about to like spear him through the chest. Like this is a very funny image. I'm sorry for how I cropped to McKinney, but anyways, he also recently in 329 went against Terrence McKinney. In a very like confusing game. Maybe McKinney grew up in somewhere that didn't have much education. Maybe he also had two teachers and drank plain milk. Maybe his bus was a bit shorter. But anyways, what I'm saying is at the end of the first round, McKinney was winning, by the way. And like look at Bobby Green's face versus McKinney's face. First of all, it's hilarious. Anyways, yeah, McKinney would pretty much dominate the entire fight, but King Green would just like take it all, like just like keep on like talking to him. Like King Green's pretty cool, he talks to them. He kind of like he kind of like how like Kevin Holland wishes he was. But anyways, getting off track. Like this was a real like King Green, and then King Green would like kick McKinney like a front body kick, and McKinney would just like crumple over. And then like it was at the end of round one, he and McKinney just like covered up and not fighting back for some reason. Like literally 5 seconds left. And then like at the last second the ref called it off. Like, and I don't know why people are like protesting this, like it's some crazy, like this is the craziest stoppage like of all time. No. Okay. To be like I think that's what happened was that Terrence McKinney really thought that he could just wait out the round, not fight back at all. Like that's not the point of the fight, and just wait till the second round. No, he wasn't fighting back. Of course, the ref will stop it. That's his job. That's literally part of his job. Anyways, I'm getting too mad right now, But this will still be a pretty good win. So that means that we, yes, we, you, the audience, and me believe in the Bobby King Green title run. I mean, look how active he is. Fought in February. Fought 2 months after that to submit the hard hitting 145er. Then again, fought 2 months later. Sorry, I was doing math. Fought 2 months later against Terry McKinney and won at the very last second of the first round. Tell me you don't believe in them. And he's like 40 years old now. We, yes, again, we as in community, believe in the King Green title run. I can't wait to see you probably 332. He's not taking. He's fighting in December. I guarantee you. Anyways, we'd love to see it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see King Green actually get the flowers he deserves. But anyways, that will do it. You know, we, you know, I think it's like the moral of the story right now is that never count out a crafty vet. Um, Neil Magny, I believe, would have beat John Jones if just because he's a crafty vet. Crazy hot take, but I believe it. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you guys. Yes, you watching the video for staying all the way through. Not many people do. You're special in my heart. You have a special place in my heart. And tell me any other moments you think that will fit this category. The old man beating the new up and comer. Probably a lot of examples I skipped over, but I love I love you all. Please, if you can, hit subscribe button, like button, share this around, comment. I would love to hear all y'all's opinions. And thank you for watching. I appreciate it so much. I'll see you on Friday, probably with a prediction.